Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Minnesota RØKKR co-stream. My name is Ashley, aka MiDNiTE. I'm on today with Brett Diamond, aka Diamond_Soda, taking over the league play lobbies. I see your screenshots you're sending. I love it. You're going off. Brett, thanks for joining me for the co-stream today.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. Good to be here, filling in for IKON. I think it's spring break or something in IKON's world. So hope he's doing well. I don't know where he went. I don't know if he's on a beach somewhere, but I'm glad to be here in his spot.
Yeah, IKON's kicking back with a pina colada or something somewhere. We don't know, but we wish him all the best. Shout out IKON. He'll be back soon. I have Brett Diamond on with me today, which is actually, honestly, we wanted to have you on the show today anyway, because we've had some crazy things going on in the RØKKR world. Obviously, we had a roster change this week that we announced on Tuesday, and that's, always tough, so definitely want to hear your opinion on that. But, I'm always hyped when we play OpTic, man. Obviously, as you guys know, my former team, I was on OpTic for about 9 years as a content creator streamer. Love those boys, but man, I never thought I'd say this, but I want to see OpTic lose. I want Minnesota RØKKR to just take down the Goliath, and it's kind of a good time to do so, right? Because I think, obviously the start of the year here for RØKKR, it's been tough. There's a lot of high expectations, that goes into our roster and the players that we brought in on the off season. And, things were off to a decent start. We actually did beat Dallas in, I think it was our second match of the year. Took down the reigning champs, but it has not been all gravy since then. There's been lots of ups and downs, and mostly down. So, Brett, your closest situation, so am I, but your closest situation last week after losing to Paris, to Florida, we start stage 2, our group 0-2. It's a tough start. What kind of led to the decision that was made to make a move for the roster? And just tell me a bit about, give me some behind the scenes stuff. Give us what the people want to hear. Let's see.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think our coaches have done a really good job of articulating the reasons behind the move. And really, everything that we talked about behind the scenes are the same things that the coaches have talked about on the podcast this week in the video that they did announcing the move. So Brian and Jake do a great job just explaining the reasoning behind these things. From my perspective, look, I'm not going to pretend like I'm breaking down film and trying to decide what the right move is, right? Myself, with the rest of our leadership team up through ownership, we rely on the coaches, and the coaches are discussing with the players, as Brian and Jake shared. But anytime there's roster changes in anything, whether it's esports, traditional sports, or anything, these are tough. These are tough decisions. We love Mike. We think the world of Mike. I talked to him. There's no question that Mike is a CDL caliber player. The roles just weren't fitting, and I'm not going to try to describe it as well as the coaches did. But clearly, we have high expectations as an organization. We expect to be competing to win majors, competing to be consistently a top 4 team. And when that's not happening, everybody has to take a look in the mirror. And the timing of these things is up to the coaches. And if they had told us after the last weekend's matches that they still felt like the composition of the roster as it existed had the potential to win majors, we'd see the same 4 guys in the same spots today against OpTic. But this was this is the right move at the right time for the organization. And coaches talked about this too. Standy is a player that we've had our eyes on for a long time, and he was part of the Challenger or the scouting series team that Saint drafted back in December, and we probably would have signed him then, but he was under contract with Triumph, and and there were some reasons that we had to wait. But even if we could be undefeated right now, and we still probably would have brought Standy on to be a bench player. Obviously, a little bit of a different situation, and that's why we get to see what the young kid's all about today, right out of the gate against top competition.
Yeah, there's no better way to make your pro debut than against OpTic Gaming, one of the most, fan favorite, loved organizations in Call of Duty history. The just some of the most winningest players of all time. In my opinion, the GOAT. I know a lot of people say Krim is the GOAT, and all respect to Krim, he is the most winningest player of all time. But I think the GOAT is Seth. He plays so consistently across all Call of Duty titles if you look at his career. So what a test to put young Standy into. He's only 19. He just won, I think, the most, like last weekend, won the Challengers finals. I think he won Challengers champs last year. Like, the kid's been on the radar. I interviewed him for that scouting series bit that you mentioned. He's a super cool kid. He's down to do content, which I love to hear. That's music to my ears. But, I mean, just to go back to it a little bit, it is always tough to make these choices, right? Because you look at the team and nobody thinks that MiDNiTE has been the person who's been underperforming the most, or there's been inconsistencies all over the place, and so it's definitely not a situation where you're like, okay, MiDNiTE, like, you're bad, bye. That's definitely not the case. Like, Mike is so good at the game, but it comes down to a role decision, right? We have Priesta, who's the superstar, like, marquee signing for us in the offseason. Arguably, like, one of the most skilled players in COD, all the way back from Black Ops 4, last year on Modern Warfare. The kid's just nasty, and, he hasn't been able to get fully comfortable in his role as a sub player on this team. And so, the coaches made the internal decision of, hey, like, let's move Priesta off a sub, let's move him to AR, and you have your main AR in accuracy, and then you have the second AR in MiDNiTE, and unfortunately it's MiDNiTE, okay, Preston needs to move to second AR, and it's not for Mike not having the skill. He's definitely skilled, and I love the guy. He's so nice. I remember like doing our first content interviews with him where he's talking my ear off. He's just a really cool, personable guy. But that's just how it goes sometimes in Call of Duty. I think you're definitely right in saying he's a professional caliber player, and I think he belongs on a starting lineup. But that's not always how it works out, right, with the roles. So coming with, obviously I said Priesta's moving to second AR instead of MiDNiTE, and then we've got Standy coming on as the submachine gun player. The kid's nasty. Apparently, this is kind of cool. This is going to be Standy's first ever time playing on 60 Hz servers. For those of you that don't know, the professional matches are played on 60 Hz servers. It just means the connection is better, there's better latency, all that good stuff. Trying to, all keep everything on as even of a playing field as you can when you're not on LAN. And this will be his first time experiencing that. So, we flew Standy right out to Dallas. Do you know where he was from originally?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Wow.
He caught a flight. I think it was 36 hours after that contract was signed, and he jumped right into it. Basically, went straight from the airport into scrims on Tuesday morning, and hopefully the rest is history. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, and two, like, it's not even that we're going to find out today, right? Like, they've had less than 2 days. I think they've only had 1 day of practice, maybe not even. The guy got up at 3 a.m. to get on his flight yesterday. But, you see him coming through. We got him a personalized jersey and hoodie. All right, shout out to Chris and Jess. I was just telling them that's impressive that you got him a personalized jersey already for game day. That's really cool. So he's got that. He's ready to rock and roll. It is tough competition to come in and make your debut versus OpTic Gaming, but it's all about just getting him in the mix ASAP. So I think like the team now, if you're looking at the roles and the players we have, the ceiling's higher than before, right? You expect that people will be a little bit more comfortable now, and you think like hopefully this helps. We'll see. So Brett, kind of tell me like your kind of anticipation here on day one. What are you looking to see? Obviously, it's tough to make a team change and then come out and 3-0 OpTic. But what are you thinking? Like, what's an indication to you that things are going in the right direction? What are you looking to see in the match?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint any one thing, but obviously, look, we still want to win.
For sure.
I don't think we're going to be smiling in the post-game show if we don't win this one. But it's a tough matchup, and it'd be a tough matchup for any team in the league. OpTic is clearly a top team. That's stating the obvious and then some. But I mean, obviously, we want to see like these moves are all about putting Priesta in the best position possible and putting him in a position that he's comfortable to thrive. So, watching him run around with the AR in his hand, like, we'll certainly be keeping a keen eye on every time he's on the screen. And then, how Attach and Standy work as the sub duo, right? I mean, they've only had a couple days of practice, but I'm excited to see the new guy run around the map and see what he can do.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. Apparently he's cracked. He's got cracked gameplay. It's we've seen success on other teams last year and even the beginning of this year, bringing up these challengers players onto their roster, and they can have an immediate impact. My expectation isn't, hey, yeah, we're going to pick up this new guy and in less than a day we're going to be beating the likes of OpTic. Do I think that could happen? Maybe. I mean, there's no pressure really on us to win the match. We're new here, right? So we're gonna see how it looks. I did predict on the podcast this last week 3-2. We got the maps are 3 raids and 2 Moscows. Raids my all-time favorite COD map, so I'm hype about those first 3 maps. And yeah, Brett, do you have a prediction for this match before we throw it to the CDL stream?
I noticed you didn't say 3-2 who, Ashley.
3-2 RØKKR, duh.
3-2 RØKKR? Okay,
Bro,
good,
3-2 RØKKR for sure.
I was going to say, we got to zoom that camera out, see if you took the OpTic stuff off your shelf today.
I got the OpTic jersey right below the RØKKR one, don't worry. Just change it out. No, I'm just kidding. But
if it's framed, that's cool. I'll match your 3-2 RØKKR. Let's go. We're homers here.
Let's see how it goes. Homer stands for life. All right, guys, in the chat, put your predictions. Let's hope for the best. Let's see how this goes. Without any further ado, Brett and I will be back in between the maps, but let's go check out the CDL stream.
I'm excited to see how much of an impact he can make for a Minnesota team that has been struggling as of recently.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's able to do alongside with Attach. So they're going to be that S&D duo. But for me, it's all about Priesta. Like I said in the pre-show, last overall in the CDL KD. And him switching to that flex role is going to make him more comfortable on this roster. So I'm expecting him to start playing a way bigger role for this team, especially in those hard points.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, for those that maybe didn't hear us at the start of the show, we were talking about Priesta saying like how he has the lowest KD right now in the entire CDL.
Yeah.
Not stuff that we're familiar with when it comes down to that man, Priesta. We would talk about his team. Let's go ahead and meet our first roster, the Minnesota RØKKR.
RØKKR certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kids. They can't stop it.
Whoa, Priesta, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. RØKKR, our kings of the north.
And there's a look at your Minnesota RØKKR, a different looking team, again, coming into today as Standy is looking to have a major impact. Study, what are your thoughts on the change, your thoughts on Standy specifically, and maybe what kind of performance that Minnesota can muster up versus a very stacked Chicago OpTic?
I think the change was needed. These guys were the worst team in hard points, so something had to have changed, and they decided to switch out Major Maniac for a player like Standy. So he's going to be that submachine gun duo with Attach, so that's going to speed up a lot on the map. But like I said, it's all about Priesta switching to that flex role. Can he start to slay it out for this team? Worst overall throughout the CDL. It's all going to start on this map one hard point for me. They're the worst hardpoint team. They need to bring it versus OpTic.
Yeah, and one of the worst hardpoint teams versus one of the best in the team that happens to sit on the other side. We've met the Minnesota RØKKR. Let's go ahead and meet OpTic Chicago.
Bruce Almighty keeps it going.
Normal, looking fantastic.
Envoy slaying his way through. Scott from up high, the king.
I'm out here doing what they thinking is irrational.
Really starting to run that score up.
I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna make it back. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpTic Gaming are back. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
And there's a look at OpTic Chicago, a scary team, especially when we talk about what kind of those hard points, those controls. They have been respawn kings, to put it lightly. What study? How great did Chicago look versus Paris last week?
Oh, well, they dominated in every single respawn. The only map that they ended up losing was that search and destroy. So that's the only thing they need to be able to take care of in this series right here. Especially going up against Minnesota RØKKR, who are still probably one of the top dogs in search and destroy. Not the top dog because you have Atlanta FaZe there, but I'm pretty sure they're sitting at second overall in that S&D game mode. So that's where it's going to really come down to me, is that raid, search and destroy for OpTic, who are currently 0-2 on that map.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how those search and destroys kind of line out as we'll take a look at our maps and modes, including that is the vetoes, man. I tell you what, love that feature. It's great to see. One thing that, kind of is to take note of, obviously we have 3 raids in a row, then we close things out with double Moscow. The raid respawn, Chicago currently sitting at 9-0 when we combine Hardpoint and when we combine Control together. So this is clearly a map and mode that they feel confident on. They're 3-0 here in Hardpoint. Minnesota, again, the struggles. We've casted over Minnesota so much, Steady, and we keep saying they've got to win a Hardpoint. Can they do it now with the new addition in Standy? Coach Brian Saint has talked so much about this guy. He loves what he's able to bring. A great game sense. His comms are super impressive. We'll see if he can be the difference maker. Much like a lot of these kind of rookies are stepping in for their teams. We're talking about Paul X, Insight. Maybe Standy can have a similar impact here.
Yeah, we're going to hop right into this game, man. 2 kills are going to go in favor of the Minnesota RØKKR. So the hill's going to be contested. You see Standy with that submachine gun being aggressive, able to pick up 2. Now he's going to rotate out and just make sure he helps his teammate. Off the rotation, make sure no players from OpTic are able to slip through Zig, able to push through water. So now all the time is going in favor of RØKKR. Unfortunately, he gets bad timing there, throwing the tactical. A couple gunfights are going to go in his favor, but here comes Attach, his duo, to help him in that situation. 3 are going to drop now for Chicago and Minnesota. So far, starting off this Hardpoint hot.
And granted, it is literally the first, 30 seconds of the game, but it is a good sight. Again, if you're Minnesota, Standy in his first life, starting things off 4-0. Unfortunately, he does get cut down by Formal, who does get the last laugh, but it's the other SMG and Attach who is so happy to have somebody like Standy sitting alongside of him. Again, we talk about Priesta in this new role, now setting up in Kitchen. He's off to a 3-1 start himself, but hey, it's only the beginning. There is still a lot of COD still to be played, specifically in this Hardpoint, as the King decides to hop inside of the Kitchen. Unfortunately, he gets met as Envoy is there to set up right after it. An 0-4 start for Envoy, for sure. Not too typical out of him, but clearly one of the main difference makers is now we are seeing a headbutt over in the Kitchen.
You see Attach, he's 1-0 streaks. He's just trying not to die, trying to play his life to the best of his ability, trying to give up all this time to OpTic, because he knows that if he gets these streaks, it can open up the game, but eventually he's going to drop. Great play out of Envoy. See 2 players from Minnesota trying to break through the front. They were able to just get the players off of OpTic, off of that P2 Hardpoint.
It's a big win.
See accuracy off the rotation, able to win the first engagement. Now his hands are going to be full with 3 other OpTic players coming around from the water side.
Really, with that 1v1 win, unfortunately for him, that does send Scump on the flank, as he will deal with Standy. So if you're Minnesota, you're sitting, 3 strong through the weight room. Attach talks often to how he finds himself in there quite a bit, so we'll see if he can continue to improve. But it's Minnesota through the front. Scump's having to do quite a bit of dirty work to try and keep this one afloat, but a nice peek out coming in from accuracy as Minnesota starting off things hot. Playing it close versus Chicago. OpTic, they have the spawns off the rip. But at least if you're the RØKKR, you're making this one competitive. You're making them really work for it. And as 25 seconds are left in this HP, it's Minnesota who's claiming every single one of those seconds.
Yeah, so Minnesota with the remaining 20 seconds are going to be able to break that 100 port mark. Accuracy trying to open it up with a big kill off the rotation onto Dashy. Going to see all the players from OpTic just trying to rotate out. Dashy unfortunately gets spawn trapped by Priesta there. But OpTic are going to be nice and early setup for this P4 Hardpoint. They're down 64 points. They need to be able to fight back and try to hold a full 60 here. See the positioning out of Standy. Trying to play his life, trying to set up the pinch, able to open up the first blood onto Formal. Now it's all about just setting up the pinch, being aggressive with your teammates. It's going to spawn Formal out. This can be the opening that they need. Standy thinks this is going to be another player around the basketball court. Here comes the trades in, and last player is going to be Envoy. He's going to drop, and once again, that's a great break for Minnesota. They're going to start putting some more time on the clock here.
Wow, man, some excellent coordination coming through from the RØKKR as OpTic Chicago, without a doubt, stunned a little bit early We'll see how they look to try and return things as we'll go and visit in with their comms. Let's go to an Astro listening with OpTic Chicago.
Nice, they're one or two. One shot attach, hut. One shot ring.
We gotta go.
Press it in ring. We can pull up kitchen. Let's go kitchen. Come here.
Alright, I'm coming.
We're going out kitchen. Zig. Walk kitchen with you. Nice, good luck, guys. I got one. Zig attach. He's telling you.
One shot attach, absolute. There's 2-0. Attaches one shot.
Guys, spawn ring, guys.
Yo, they're spawning.
Go kitchen.
I'm
I'm gonna hit our.
Spawning water.
Yo, he's on. Wait in.
Wipe in.
I'm getting close to you.
Moving close. I don't see anything, though.
Yo,
Water stairs. Two water. Back.
Water stairs, no.
Yo, priest on one shot.
Weak water stairs, standing.
No trophies.
Water stairs, standing weak.
I'm helping kitchen.
I need help kitchen, guys.
I'm here.
I'm trying to hit. I'm hitting.
And one bottom art.
Bottom arch just holding. Bottom arch holding. Lamar.
I spawn behind him.
Yo, what? Pillars, priest. Pillars in top ring.
Pillars, priest.
I got pinched. Alright, let's go.
We're spawning out.
Yeah.
Try to get
One
through
money.
the guy old.
One
They're gonna
money.
be new.
Closer.
Already.
We'll go top art.
I'm
team in red.
Here goes Zig, yep. I'm pitching pool. He
Yo,
can
there's
pitch Zig.
that priest. Absolute outer. What's top ring?
Top ring, not peeking.
Lamar, top ring, one shot.
Lamar, top ring.
Top one shot.
There's time.
There's time.
Water stairs,
They
dead.
have a trophy now.
I don't attach.
Two new.
One shot gold.
Lamar,
The Minnesota RØKKR are up by over 100 points and only looking to continue their dominance. Study, what did you make there out of the comms from OpTic Chicago after what has been a very one-sided hardpoint?
They seem pretty frustrated, man. Every time they're trying to set up a push, a couple players from the RØKKR are just going big in those engagements. It was attached on that P5 hardpoint, and now you see them. They were able to win those rotations as well to P5, and OpTic finally are able to break in to that P1 hardpoint now. See Scump trying to set up for some kills at this art area. But Minnesota, they still have the laundry spawns. They're still trying to set up for P2 as well. But yeah, from those comms, it was just all about the frustration. Minnesota, they have been holding these hard points down to the T. See Standy having a great performance, 18-9. Wow. Oh, man, they're doing well, man. They're doing well. Can they do it, Lando? Can they win a hard point?
Literally, folks, they are the worst hardpoint team in the entire CDL. Of course, it's a totally different team now with Standy in the lineup, but this is a roster we've been talking about consistently. Can they win a hardpoint? If they can win it, how much better would they be? A search and destroy has been great. Control's been fine. It has been all on these HPs. As again, Minnesota with spawns coming into our Money Hill over at Kitchen as Dashy now sitting at 5 and 16. How often do you see that? Is attached from the front, Standy from the back, takes down Envoy, and in his debut game, Standy putting up the most kills currently in the lobby, and he's really only in competition with his good old buddy. Accuracy finally drops from the middle side of the map, but very rarely do we ever see Chicago get dominated in a respawn, let alone a hardpoint like this one on Raid, as Chicago have yet to drop over in Raid, and now they're 9 seconds away from their very first loss. Final 5 seconds is going to go to Chicago over at the Kitchen, but again, we rotate now toward the garage. In Minnesota, they're primed and ready. They are set up. Attach. He falls from the front, but it's Priesta and the new roll. There's 2. There's 3 as the ARs combine. And Minnesota winning the opening hardpoint in a dominant way, 250-81, with Standy putting up one of the best performances that we have seen in his very first game. New life from the RØKKR study.
And if you're the RØKKR right there, getting that hard point win to start your series is going to change a whole different momentum throughout the rest of this series. They haven't won a game 1 hard point in a really long time, and they get the job done with the rookie and Standy. And not only in just that fashion, they did it versus probably one of the best hard point teams that we have in the game. And keep in mind, Lando, you kept saying it, they have yet to lose a Raid respawn, and they dropped that one, getting a 100-point club by Minnesota. Oh my God, Minnesota looks like a completely different team, man. They're starting up 1-0 in this series, and they're going into a search and destroy. Oh man, if you're OpTic, this one's kind of scary now.
Yeah, I mean, what, 7 and 18 out of Dashy, 16 and 22 from Formula. Obviously, it was just a dominant performance from the RØKKR, but yeah, nobody positive. Also, that is the 3rd biggest hardpoint win that we have seen this season, winning it by, 169 points. Impressive stuff from Minnesota. Impressive stuff out of this guy, Standy. And we talk about it a lot. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game when you're facing off against a team like OpTic in your first ever match. A lot of talk about this guy Standy. He's been kind of one of those players that we've discussed a lot in the challenger scene, and it's great to see him having.
Oh my goodness, Brett Diamond.
Let's go.
We just won a hard point. Let's go, man. Holy. RØKKR wins a map 1 hard. Have we even won a map 1 hard point this year? Maybe like 1. I know we're like 2-9 in hard point. We're 3-9 now. And what's most impressive is OpTic is really good in hardpoint so far in stage 1 and stage 2. I think the casters just said they haven't even dropped a map 1 hardpoint, so this is nutty. We talked about.
I'm so fired up I can't even stay in the frame of the camera. Let's go.
I know, same. I'm like kind of like, oh, wait, no, now I made it worse. Nope, I'm good. Perfect. Dude, that was, the new kid on the block, Standy, joins up. We got Attach and Standy. We're just absolutely applying massive pressure there. Map 1, hardpoint raid. You saw accuracy comfortable in the hill, shooting. You saw Prisa assumingly comfortable, getting lots of hill time and slaying where he needs. What I noticed there was, we would rotate and we would hold that. That's one thing that we had trouble with. We would rotate early in previous kind of hard points and in iterations with this team, but then we'd get broken pretty quickly. And from hill 1 there on hardpoint raid, we got some good time in circle, held kitchen spawn, and from then it was just keep on rotating and then holding. That was the most impressive to me. And then obviously Standy went at one point he was over double positive. He was 6-1, or Attach was going off. That was crazy, Brett. I don't even know how to break it down. I'm just too hyped.
Yeah, Standy starts 4-0, Attach 6-0. Attach might have been better in 6-0 by the time he got knocked off. Standy was 23-13 for the map.
Ooh.
Like you said, we were holding, winning the rotation fight while holding, getting the scrap time, winning the rotation fight. I would have loved to see maybe someone in the chat can tell us what the betting odds were on this one, but I don't think they had OpTic scoring 81 points on map 1.
No way, dude. 100-point clubbing OpTic. Can't stress enough how good of a hardpoint team OpTic has been so far this year. They're obviously a great team, championship caliber. Let's see how the Search and Destroy goes. The Search and Destroy is the one I am most worried about. That is the hardest mode for a new player to come and just slot in on the team. And then obviously MiDNiTE, an S&D guru, just a lord on the map in her S&D. So going to be interested to see how the team, fares in Search. We're going back to Raid, my favorite map. S&D Raid, Hardpoint Raid, my 2 favorite modes, map combos of all time. Let's get to it. Not counting our chickens before they hatch, but let's hope we can keep the vibes going this series. We'll see you guys after the Search.
Lies that 1-2 punch in the vetoes. 16-1 between Checkmate and Raid. Now make it 16-2. Unfortunately, dropping that map number 1.
Yeah, that's it's a sight to see. You see Chicago maybe somewhat stunned, now coming in the Search and Destroy. Who knows, man? All right, let's go into the game fuel keys to victory now for the Minnesota RØKKR. First things first, it's been on Prista, right? Needs to turn things around with that new flex roll. Was at a 0.85, which was the worst in the CDL. Standy needs to have a strong debut versus a slay-heavy and crafty OpTic Chicago roster. And finally, come out strong on the opening hardpoint. They are 2-9 in the season, and they've lost their last 4 hardpoints. Get those records out of here, man. Right now they're 3-9, but they broke the opening hardpoint streak. They are looking like a totally different team. And honestly, Study, out of the opening break, it was instant. We could tell straight out of the gates, Priest is playing well, Attach is freed up, Standy goes on a 4-0 streak to start off his very first official life. These guys, we talk about life a lot. They look like everything has been kind of breathed into them. Everybody seems to be in great synergy right now. But again, Search and Destroy, it was that mode for them. And obviously, when you talk about bringing in some younger players, a lot of times they do have that Search and Destroy background. And Standy is no different. A lot of history with this guy when we talk about Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and then we're going to go into a Raid Search and Destroy. So this is OpTic. I think this is their worst Search and Destroy map that they have. They're 0-2 on the season so far in Raid compared to Minnesota, who are 1-0. But you can completely throw that stat off for Minnesota because this is a totally different roster here. And it's definitely showing so far that hard point. Let's see what they're able to bring in that search and destroy. If we're on the side of OpTic, we're looking at Envoy to be that playmaker once again. Such a drastic jump from when they win to lose if he's playing well.
And Chicago have actually lost their last 4 search and destroys. 2 of them have been in round 11. Again, for Chicago, it is all about control. It is all about hardpoint. S&D, not one they've had to rely on typically, and now they have to. Is again, so glad to see that HUD showing us the defending attacking team. Lives remaining for both of our rosters as well. Fantastic to see. Some great upgrades as Minnesota getting early on aggressive as Attach takes down Formal for that first blood. Envoy peeks out of Laundry, and Standy is right there with them. That SMG duo in tandem together looking oh so good as Scump and Dashy will be able to find a pick. So now that leaves us to a 2 versus 2. Accuracy and Priesta now left to join alongside each other.
Yeah, you see, I thought that they were going to rotate towards A, but OpTic has read this perfectly. Scump's going to walk away with that huge 2-piece around the backside. I would have liked Minnesota to just rotate that bomb over towards A, but they thought that they waited enough time for the OpTic players to rotate over towards that opposite bomb site. But instead of cutting through mid-map, we wrap back and go through our base, and Scump gets the job done right there with the 2-piece to close out that round.
Yeah, great job from Chicago. Able to hold off the damage, able to hold off what was an early start from Minnesota with those picks. Again, it cannot be understated. Attach and Standy showing no fear in the opening offense, but now we'll get to revisit what Chicago likes to do on these offenses, and it appears they're going to go for more of a slow look. We talked about the aggression early from Minnesota. Chicago may be planning for that to continue as they'll make their way up the driveway. 3 heavy, now into the B point. Envoy leading the way right now.
Yeah, so they would try to just play that nice and slow in the art area, so they don't let the players from Minnesota let their location be known. But you see the shots out of Envoy was able to eliminate, to spot one player around the middle map. Priest is going to open up with the first blood. That's going to be a 3v4 situation for OpTic. See 2 players from Minnesota just holding this P5. They completely gave up this B bomb plant. They're just trying to set up for the retake, and now the bomb is going to be going down in favor of OpTic.
That man advantage. Yeah, Minnesota looks to try and retake. Some presence early coming in from pillars. Now coming in from back jungle. Envoy needs to win one of these fights as Dashy's watching over him, and now Priesta realizes he's got to back up. Dashy finds 2. Now a 2 versus 3, as that's going to be 1 player found out as well. All coming down to Priesta. 18 seconds left. Still have to go for the defuse. And Chicago walk away with 2 early ones. But they kind of play slow off the start here, Study, but this is just great coordination, for sure deserving of the best play. As Dashy from one angle to the next, causing problems as the attack from Minnesota halted by 1 man.
And that's good because Dashy did not have a good first hard point. Now you see him in the search and destroy, starting off 3-0, trying to work for some streaks if he's able to chain a couple kills more. But it's looking like Minnesota, once again, they're going to take this bomb towards that B site. Accuracy is going to be the island player sitting towards top bedroom, making sure no players from OpTic decide to just do B. First blood is going to go in favor of Standy, so now it's going to be a 3v4 situation in favor of Minnesota.
Andy getting a nice formal greeting with Envoy. Says, hey, nice to see you. Happy to be playing against you. And I'll be taking your life. Thank you very much. Minnesota, nice early pick on the offense. Mid-presence. Player 4, and that is going to be Scump. Standy does get the call out. Is he then to go for the engagement? I love this man, the rookie. Look at the face-off against the greatest SMG of all time, and Standy, he's able to win it. Another big pick, but on the other end, Formal playing at the island. Does get some nice shots onto Priesta, but it's nothing landing as of yet. As the ARs left to try and clutch up for the team. Dashy up close, and that's how the QBZ can work. Standy again, finding the pick. And it all comes down to Formal, who gets found out inside of the Tiki. As Minnesota, they reply. What a great play from that middle side of the map from Standy.
Yeah, Standy opened up with the first blood there, and then he was able to back up, go right into Art, and he was just throwing non-stop shoulders at P5. He knew that there had to be a player from Chicago sitting around that position, and Scump, unfortunately, he dropped that gunfight there, so Standy went huge on that round, putting him on a 3 spree in this map number 2. Now, if you're Minnesota, if you open up with the first blood this time, I would like them to set up a pinch or just play the numbers in their advantage. They lost their last defensive hold by, even though that they did open up with their first blood, they had the man advantage. They just waited too long, and they let the players from OpTic Chicago set up. But that's going to be a great way to start it. Accuracy, open up the first blood on a Dashie.
Nice three-pointer coming in from Accuracy. Long range tends to be his forte. Low push. You see everybody just stop on the mini-map, gain some comms. But how about the shot from Accuracy? I was going to say, if he hits that one, might see a little bit of a rage coming out in the comms. Envoy not confident about the plant, decides to hop off the bomb. And really just because it's that presence from Accuracy being such a problematic player with no real map control through Kitchen. They've got nobody to try and engage this. They have to try to make their way from the front. Envoy, he gets traded out. And there's Minnesota. That's back-to-back.
Yeah, and Accuracy opens up with the first blood, and then him just holding down that basketball court. You saw Envoy, he was trying to set up for the plant, but Priesta goes shortstop pocket, eliminates Formal, turns it into a 2v2, and then at that point, just comes down to the trades for Minnesota, and they get the job done. Now it's tied 2-2.
5 straight for Standy.
Way to open up. Oh my God. What's up with these rookies, man? These guys always come in and they just have great debuts versus in teams that we weren't expecting, man. He's putting on an absolute show for his roster right now.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well to see Venom for the Thieves coming up. That's going to be a great debut as well. Fantastic player. Excited to see him now with that team. But one player that makes the difference, Priest, that we talked about it. New role. Fortunately, he drops. Thankfully, if you are Chicago, that does make your life a little bit easier, but Standy does manage to put that bomb down. Chicago with that man advantage. We're going to have a whole lot of map control, but unfortunately for them, it is going to be a nice mansion push. Accuracy watching over, but that vision is now depleted. Dashie with one, Envoy combines for the second, and it all comes down to Standy. Again, sitting on that 5 spree, 20 seconds left. You don't want to try to lose this streak, but again, if he could find a kill, that would be big for them, despite what is going to be a defuse from Envoy.
Yeah, you see him just trying to play his life. He knows that the streaks are a lot more valuable as this game continues to go on. Chicago are able to walk away with that defensive hold. It all came down to great shots from Dashie right here. Opening up with the first blood on the Accuracy, you eliminate that player from top bedroom. You allow your submachine gun players to push towards the bottom. They get the second kill onto Attach. And eventually they work that defuse, but just a heads-up play right there from Standy. Still on a 5 spree, 2 kills away from working some score streaks of his own. Gonna hop on board here with OpTic going into their offensive push. It's looking like they're gonna commit towards this A-bomb site. This time Accuracy is gonna be the only player once again at this bomb. How aggressive do they decide to play this? It looks like they're going to try to get up straight on this bomb, work for this bomb plant at least 20 seconds into the round, and now it's going to be a 4v4 retake if you're Minnesota.
And Accuracy doesn't get any visuals. Does get traded out, but again, if you're Minnesota, you're constantly having one player over in this lane, and that very well could finally start to bite them. Attach and Priesta comes down to these two. Attach shuts down Scump. Formal hanging out in that top mansion. And really from one play to the next, Envoy. A nice kill coming in from him. So it's Envoy on one side, Formal on the other. They're able to win out in this 2 versus 2. But really, kind of off the start of this round study, it's Accuracy by himself. He doesn't have really any vision. The only thing that he knows is that at least one player's pushed up. There's one player instead of mansion. And really from Minnesota, just off the start of this round, it's hard, right? Because you're trying to figure out where do you really want to supply your 4 players. And they lose out off of what is a constant play from Accuracy over at that water side.
Yeah, and they gave up the aggression that they were taking on the map. They gave up P5, so they all were sitting out back kitchen, all sitting back laundry, and were just playing for the players from OpTic to try to be aggressive towards mid-map. Unfortunately, it comes back to bite them, and OpTic walk away with that round. So you're going to see now Minnesota on offense. They're trying to work up towards this B point once again. You're going to see the duo of Attach and Standy attempting to try to push out back laundry. Sasha just clearing out every single corner, trying to locate a couple players from OpTic. They might be able to get an engagement here pretty soon. Standy was able to spot Formal. That's going to back up Formal, so now this is going to give the opportunity to Minnesota RØKKR to try to work this bomb plan, but here comes Accuracy from water steps, able to get the first blood.
Well, you like to play from Standy, right? He's able to kind of distance players back. Granted, trades happened on the other side. Those favor Minnesota. Now it's up to your young guns. Dashing Envoy for Chicago. They could grab this round. How big would that be? The swing round, as Minnesota desperately need to take this. Standy, did he get the angle? There's a player run right past him. He's right past him. Priesta finds one onto Dashi. Meanwhile, Envoy. Oh, 2 players here. They have to try to get this plant down soon, and if Envoy can play his life, this could be the spot. Standy goes for the challenge, and he wins it. A little bit scary, right? If Envoy wins that fight, how different do things look based off the streak, based off the situation? But Standy wins the fight. In Minnesota, they take the swing round.
Yeah, it was just the opening, the aggressive that they set on towards Laundry. They had the players Informal and Dashy back up. Once they do that, you saw Agassi open up with the first blood. Eventually, it gets traded by Priesta, who was sitting top raid with great shots on Informal from water steps. And now you're going to see Minnesota trying to fight back in this game, but OpTic are on offense. It's looking like they're trying to commit towards B. This time, Minnesota decided to take that P5 once again with the aggressive sub players, and there goes Standy opening up with the first 2.
Such an impact player. Again, as that search and destroy background, we talk about so many players who have been kind of waiting for their moment. So many guys who've been playing in such long, so many years, so many tournaments. When is it ever going to pay off? And see Standy having such a great performance here. It's awesome to see. Priesta, momentum flowing right now for the RØKKR as Formal all by himself, left in the 1 versus 4. Does take down Attach, but again, it is Standy. Minnesota. That's 2 straight. They level things now at 4-4, and they line up for the rookie.
Even though it's at 4-4, Minnesota so far have gotten 7 first bloods out of the 8 rounds that we have played so far. Minnesota, they're trying to fight back. They're trying to go up 2-0 in this series versus OpTic. See Standy 10-3, currently on a 4-speed, Priesta on 3. So it looks like they're going to try to take control of mid-map. He's just going to take his time, try to spot a couple players. Good shots from Dashy, open it up with the first blood on the accuracy. Now this is going to slow down the push from Minnesota. But as I say that, you see the positioning from Standy around this P5. How aggressive does he want to be? He's working towards some streaks. Will he be able to get them?
You see the confidence right from Standy, slowly but surely gaining more as time goes on. Good spot early for Chicago. Is he going to read Standy? Hanging out in the pit. King will look to try and rejoin his teammates instead. The retake is on. Dashy may get the angle. Actually, no, Standy's going to see him. Standy finds the kill. Meanwhile, it's Envoy over here at P1. Bringing us down to a 2 versus 2. SMGs aplenty. They line up. That's Attach. And there's the other. Minnesota RØKKR come away with an unexpected clutch. Would look to be a great situation for Chicago. We talked about first bloods. How really plentiful they have been for RØKKR. Dashy wins it. We're liking their spot. But it's the SMGs that clutch up for RØKKR as they are now sitting on 3 rounds in a row and are 1 round away from going up 2-0 versus OpTic Chicago. Granted, the job is not done, but I'll be honest with you, Study. I was not thinking that we would be in this situation right now.
No, neither would I, man, especially the way that this kid is playing right now. Now he's able to earn himself some streaks. There goes their artillery strike, but he's going to drop. So he's going to have it to a 5-5 if it does go the distance. But now it's going to be a 3v3. That was Minnesota opening up with another first blood on the round. See accuracy with great shots onto Formal. Now it's going to be a 3v2. They spot one player in Dashy. He should be able to get team shot here, but here comes his teammate in Scump. He's going to get traded, so now it's going to be a 2v1 for Dashy versus Priesta and accuracy.
Dashy's in this to around 11. Not have a great performance in that opening hard point, but oh, how great has he been in Cold War. That shot is one to be careful about. He does have the bomb. He's just not sure on where that other player is. Is he going for the flank? Is he going for the late rotation? See Dashy just not overly confident in which place, what area to go, just because he doesn't have the visuals. He doesn't have the information. Tries to go for the turn onto accuracy, but it is the Minnesota RØKKR going up 2-0. And you see the boys, they're standing up. They are hype. They are experiencing new life in this team as Standy going off for the roster. What a performance right now from Minnesota, winning that opening hard point. And we can only got to talk about it more as time goes on, Study. How impactful was Standy in a majority of these rounds, even in that last one where he earned the streak? We may have saw it in that round 11, we'll never know. But he was just so impactful around the map. You just saw Chicago at a lot of spots they would normally have information, and a lot of spots where they would normally have comms. They don't, because Standy, he takes it away.
Yeah, Standy was taking over, man. When they were down 4-2, Standy did not die until the very last round right there at the end. Eventually earns himself some streaks, but 13-4 for the rookie. If you're accuracy, attach, and Priest, you're looking left and right. You're just like, we found a gold mine. This guy's playing out of his mind right now for this team, and now they put themselves up by 2-0 in the series, one map away from closing out this versus OpTic. Even though they're going into control, which is OpTic's best game mode, if you're Minnesota, you gotta be feeling really good.
You have to, man. You have to. And again, we talked about like Brian Saint. He's been scouting out this guy for such a long time. He's been so confident in Standy's ability, and to see it pay off, at least as of right now, it is awesome.
Brett Diamond.
Let's go.
Let's go. Give me some hype. Up 2-0 on OpTic Gaming. OpTic Chicago, sorry. 9 years worth of muscle memory there in my brain. Bro, welcome Standy. 13-4 in the Search and Destroy. Absolutely held his own in the hard point. I loved round 1 of map 2 there. Attach and Standy pushing up through Laundry to just get immediate pressure on OpTic Chicago. They took out Formal right away. I don't know. They did win the round, I think. It got a little dicey, right? We went down 4-2. And then all of a sudden, just ripped rounds in a row. Was really impressed with what I saw from Standy there. Oh, my goodness, Brett. You always get nervous to make team changes, but it's hard to get nervous after you see the first play that it goes like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, you said it while we were watching, so I got to give you credit. And the coaches said it on the podcast, and they talked about it behind the scenes with us a lot as well. But they talked about the Challengers players have more reps in Search. They're grinding and playing more tournaments, playing more matches. And I don't know if that's part of it or what, but I mean, 13-4 on the Search for the new kid. Whatever it was, 23-11 or 23-13 on Hardpoint. I mean, clearly he's coming in and having an immediate impact. We got to get one more map here. We're not going to get too confident, but I like what I see so far. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what to expect, right? You got a new kid on the block, literally only 19, just flew to Dallas. We're like, hey, sign this contract, come to Dallas, play for us, we'll get you a jersey, cool. Bro, he probably doesn't even use this to show that he's talking on the phone. He probably goes like this. Like, it's crazy. He's so new. Yeah, he's so new. It's exciting to see the team playing like this. And again, I think we had a little bit of an advantage here going into this one because new look on the lineup. Nobody's expecting much when you're going up against OpTic freaking Chicago with the GOAT, Seth. Like, Dashy, Envoy, Formal, like, they just look a little out of place. Looking at the player cams, Seth looks full tilted. Like, you don't love to see that. Obviously, as a 9-year OpTic gaming member, it's like, ooh, man, that's tough to watch. But if it's any team that's going to do it to him, I want it to be RØKKR. And I'm just so proud of Standy for coming in short notice and just being that fry guy. I think the point of Challengers players, obviously all the pro players in the league are in grind mode. When you look at the Challengers, there's even more people down there grinding to get their spot. They're grinding scrims. Their tournaments are pretty frequent. They're long. They're getting just a ton more reps than you're seeing CDL players get in tournament, right? So Standy probably has the most S&D reps of everyone. But it was like I said, you never really know what to expect because it's hard. I'd say Search is the hardest game mode to slot a new player in, and he went off. He has the natural talent.
Love to see it. I'm also liking the We Stand Standy hashtags in the chat. Maybe we got to drop some of those in the in the CDL stream chat too.
Let them know. Let them know. Yeah, you love to see. I actually tweeted out. I said, "Fave if joining the Standy Stan Club," and it already has over 120 likes. I just tweeted it like a second ago. So we're in the Standy Stan Club. Let's start getting merch together. Let's figure it out. I'm super excited. Shoot, I'm going to ask him to be on a podcast next week. I'm trying to learn more about this guy. Obviously I interviewed him for Scouting Series, so know like the very basics, but yeah, really, really excited to see how he's performing so far. I'm nervous to see how the control goes because, we saw us frying hardpoint. We saw some good S&D play. Let's see how the control looks. You never really know how it's going to go till you see how it's going to go, but not counting the chickens before they've hatched.
Got to keep our foot on the gas here.
Let's keep the foot on the gas. Let's go. Let's go into the control. Get hype in the chat, and we'll catch you guys after the hard control on raid.
New role playing now with the flex, currently at a 1.53 KD through these last 2 games.
And that's basically almost double of him the entire stage 1. He was a 0.85 overall, dead last in the season. And you can just tell he's a lot more comfortable in this flex role. Standy is putting on an absolute show alongside of Attach throughout this series so far. You can just tell Priest is a lot more comfortable with that Krig in his hands, making sure that he's able to win those long-range engagements, and it's also slowing him down as a player. And so far throughout the series, it's showing.
It is, man. It is clearly showing the way that this guy has been able to impact the game in that opening hard point. What we talked about in the Search and Destroy as well, 13-4. But hey, we got to level ourselves a little bit, right? We talked about hard point, obviously has been great for Chicago. Search and Destroy, not so much. Control has been their backbone, right? They are without a doubt the best control team in the game, sitting at 9-1. That is first in a CDL, and then specifically on raid, they are 6-0. So again, we talked about raid hardpoint. It was a win for Minnesota. That was the first time Chicago has lost a raid hardpoint. A fellow respawn now in the control, but a much different respawn given the performance from Chicago on this map and mode combination. But like we said, Ben, we've seen raid twice now. Similar environment, a similar territory. Who knows? Maybe RØKKR could shock us again.
Oh, man, if RØKKR get this done,
I never thought I'd say that.
I don't even know what to think anymore. I don't even know what to think, man, if they can win this control versus OpTic. We're just going to have to wait and see. So we're going to start off with RØKKR on their offensive side. It's looking like they're going to send 3 players over towards that A site, try to get some early ticks there. But number 7, who's Standy, is going to be that island player playing around bedroom, making sure no players from OpTic push up the water steps. 2 kills are going to go in favor of OpTic Gaming. And eventually, they're trying to just hold this push. But you see what Minnesota are going to do. Now they're fully committing towards that A point.
Minnesota, nice start for them. Again, we talked about it in our last series constantly, how it was really about these early captures over at A. Minnesota looking to do the same thing. Now, in comparison to our last series, it was teams really kind of struggling after getting kind of like that 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. How do you really kind of value your life? How do you eventually break that defensive hold here over at B? We'll see what Minnesota's got cooked up for us now. It appears a push now in toward that back jungle position. Catching Scump off guard as Kitchen was wide open. Nearly another one onto Foremost. He's prepared for the fight, but that's 2 big ones coming in for Matthew Piper.
Yeah, Foremost goes huge right there in the back jungle, right there to slow down the push from Minnesota. Standy was trying to do everything he can from that top window, but he was eventually going to drop. So now this is going to slow down the push from Minnesota. You see that number 3 player in Envoy is completely canceling the spawns from Minnesota to spawn at that water street. There goes 4 down once again. Now all the Minnesota players have to push around this left side, try to go through the safe point, and try to work around the back side to try to break this setup that OpTic currently have.
In terms of overall lives, somewhat even right now. Again, just waiting for somebody to make the play. If you're Chicago, you cannot afford to go down 3-4. That's really the key for the offense. And Dashi, kind of behind enemy lines toward that bottom mansion side, is going to continue to be a thorn in the side for RØKKR. Again, that, minute and 19, or 2 minutes and 19, now kind of cut down already. Just a minute on the clock. And Minnesota, they are pushed back to their base. Farthest pushed up players attached. He falls inside of money. Envoy hanging out on the ledge. As that's going to be 2 in a row. Chicago, they continue to roll.
OpTic are just holding. They're getting every single kill in their favor. Currently have a 6 live advantage. Going to force all the players once again from the RØKKR. try to push around that back laundry side, but Formal is going to be here to read it. Here comes Scump for the assistance as well. They have 2 players pushed up all the way at bedroom, so they don't have to focus on that. Focus on the backside. Here comes Formal, able to open up the first 2 kills. Standy and his teammate Inaccuracy trying to work through kitchen. Formal slowly waiting. Here comes the Semtex. He's going to be able to trade that onto Standy. Last player in a position to try to get on this point is going to be Accuracy in money window. Scump's going to be able to win a big gunfight in towards kitchen. Trying to go for the second honor Accuracy. That's going to be 2 down again for Minnesota. That goes 3 with 5 seconds remaining. It's looking like OpTic are going to walk away with this defense.
What do you like there from Chicago? Again, we talked about it kind of in our first series. We never really got a chance to hit on what was the dominant defense when it comes down to that point. What has been the key to success that you've seen in our past 2 maps? I know we're early in the second one, but what do you think has been so good from the defenses to not allow for really the offense to break with 2 minutes on the clock?
It's all about just being aggressive towards that bedroom area. When you get 2 players pushed up to that positioning, all the pressure is on those players who are watching that flank, who are watching back laundry side, and consistently OpTic were winning every single engagement, not giving the RØKKR any opportunity to set up that pinch, and they get the job done there.
Get the job done. And what, if you're really Chicago, hey, it's just nice to get a point on the board. It's nice to be up really in this series. We'll see how they look coming into later parts of this round. We talk about comms a lot, especially on a map like Raid Control. Sometimes it can be hectic. Let's go to the comms now with our Astro listening on Minnesota RØKKR.
Zig go.
Looking water steps.
Still on Zig.
Yeah, they're on B, they're on B.
I got out Zig.
They beat
one shot.
Yeah,
Zig push
yeah,
basketball.
He's in basketball.
One Zig.
No, on me.
Where's he Zig?
Tiki.
Backed up Zig. Okay, I'm going water
Push up on
steps.
this guy, Tiki.
I'm helping you on time.
I can see from bed.
Zig, going Tiki, one shot. I'm blocking A. I'm one shot.
Tiki dead. From bed.
Spawning bed. They're spawning B. One's garage on me spawn, actually. Garage spawn. They could go in. I'm from bed.
I'll get it.
From bed to me, Sean.
Two. I got one.
I have it.
Envoy's gonna be mid or something. I'm trying to
That's
it. One more. Let's go.
On A gun. He's right side. He's right side. He's pushed up on our side.
Are they going for A right now? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pinch. Okay.
I can reinforce B if you want me.
Yeah, I'm pinching. Two their side A.
I'm
one shot.
There's 2 their side A. You can full flash them, guys. You hit me on mid. You hit me on mid. Set.
Mid set dead.
There you go. As I'm going out right now.
Their side point.
Yeah. Hold that. Hold that.
Their side point. I'm weak. I have to go play.
Now they gave it. They got it.
Yeah, they got me.
I'm trying to push that out.
Play for exit kills.
I'm gonna get pull stairs. Could be top.
Yeah, he could be above me.
Yo, can someone go money in the kitchen?
I got one pull steps. Yeah, come in money.
He might hit me in the back.
I have top edge.
I'm in the back right now.
Chicago able to secure that a point from one rookie to the other. Standy as well says, hey, actually, that free line side is actually a pretty good one. But all seriousness aside, what'd you make of the comms there from Minnesota throughout what was a little bit of a nice sequence from their opposition?
I love those comms, man. It sounded like Accuracy is going to be the leader of this roster. He's going to be trying to set up his players where they need to be. But everybody is also stepping up in that communication column. You heard Standy said, someone filling that water steps, someone filling the kitchen. So these guys are just working together, all feeding off of each other's information that they're giving each other. So far on their defensive, they've been able to hold this versus OpTic. You're going to see the opening from Scump. There's going to be no players on this B site. Scump's trying to stay alive at this pocket window. He's going to be able to take down the second in Standy. Is he going to be able to get the third in Priest? No, he's not. But this is the opening that OpTic need. Now they're able to get on this point. They just need to chain a couple kills together to try to close out this round.
Yeah, really a great play from Scump. Finally, he's able to kind of free open some space, gets the angle, and tries to make it work. But just as we start to talk about all of that progress, it all really kind of goes out the window, right? Minnesota able to hold on well. They placed really a few of their ARs kind of in those top side positions like money, back basketball court. And now we're back to exactly where we started. But final push, pretty much inbound. Envoy having a little bit of team support as Formal looks to join inside the fray as well. Scump opens up with a nice kill. Here comes Envoy again. The utility is out, but it's attached. It's Formal. Everybody following, but it's Minnesota with the overall trades at the end of the day. And Standy with a dirty kill over onto Dashy, setting up attach. Chicago, no respawns remaining. And Minnesota are going to bring us now to a 1-1, winning their defense as well.
Yeah, and it all started off the rip of that. You saw OpTic, they were trying to go right up the middle of the map. Just a lot of kills are going in favor of Minnesota. Attached, once he opens up with that 2-piece towards bottom bedroom, all the players do spawn at that A point. Eventually they work that point, but they were just stalling so much time at that bedroom positioning, had OpTic just turning around, doing 360, making sure that there was no players coming from the backside, coming from the front. and eventually Minnesota get the hold there and eventually close out that defensive round. They're going to be going into another offensive push. We saw the way that they decided to play it last time. They got that A point nice and early, but OpTic held that B point for 2 minutes with just the positionings that they had. Do Minnesota decide to do anything different here? Nope. It's looking like they're going to commit towards A once again.
Say don't break what, or rather don't try to fix what isn't broken, but also at the same time, it's when you got the time, it's just a matter of can you break over at B. I almost kind of want to see Minnesota get cleared off of A just because maybe they have a chance at the other side. And hey, I get my wish, right? Formal comes through with a nice double on that nade. Instantly has a few more players staring down the barrel. His accuracy, a nice shot coming through from him. And on the other side, really from the spawns, Envoy's trying to put in some pressure. In the meantime, all these fights continuing to accrue. And it's Minnesota on the point. Now 1, about to be 2 ticks in. And this one should be theirs. Yeah, really. A white flag coming out of OpTic Chicago saying, hey, we're going to give that point away. This has been where all the pressure has been on, right? It has been all about how do you aggress at B. Well, we've been kind of in the classroom trying to figure out how do you engage this, especially versus a team like OpTic Chicago. This is RØKKR's chance now to finally change things up. And see Chicago not wanting to give any positions away. Accuracy finds a great pick onto somebody who was over at their mansion side. That player quickly is going to be back off of spawn, but 2 players go down for RØKKR. There goes Standy. Back and forth we go, but it is Chicago holding again over at B.
Yeah, they stopped that push, and now it's going to force Minnesota RØKKR once again to try to set it up by pushing around the backside. They're trying to eliminate Formal out of bedroom. They get the job done there. Do they know that Dashy's in the position that he is? He's going to shoot right there, so he's going to give that up. So now you see both players just trying to work up, trying to eliminate him. On the opposite side of the map, you see Accuracy winning a big engagement. It's going to force all the players from OpTic to spawn towards bottom basketball, so they don't have any bottom control. If they win these engagements on this front side at bedroom, this could be the opening that Minnesota need. Standy was able to take down 1. Did he locate Dashy, though? He's still trying to locate him. Going to jump from the front window. Eventually, he's going to drop, and 3 go down now for the RØKKR.
Chicago, just like they drew it up. Progress made from Minnesota at times, but continually being brought back. The strategies, continuing to struggle, trying to get a pick. Nice trigger discipline out of Scump. Nearly turns on the second, but when you look at that kill feed, in some ways, the job is done. Player 7 and player 6, the SMGs, they've got to make an impact here. Attached does find a nice one onto Envoy, and there goes another. So they have done enough, right? They have done enough, and they start to actually pop up in the feed. That's a great moment. Finally coming in from RØKKR. Have they bought themselves enough time? Chicago sprinting off the spawn right into the sight lines of Attach. Hanging out in the small room, tries to shut down Formal as the ARs, they look to try and answer back. Standy wins a big fight, and now it comes down to like a 1 versus 2, 20 seconds. Again, live-wise, players are good to go. That's not going to be a factor. Wins another one versus Dashy. That's Attach, combining for a few as well. Last player's going to be Formal, and he falls. Minnesota, they clean up the offenses. They finally figure out the offensive woes. And it comes from the rookie again. Standy making the plays, shutting down players in stride. And really this looks like the opposite of a debut. It looks like he's been doing this for such a long time. Stays alive long enough where Minnesota can get control and get that 3 and 4 down.
Man, he just played that round so beautifully. You saw him, he was in that kitchen area. Once they pick up that second kill onto Envoy, wrapping back, he forces all the players to spawn out back laundry. On the opposite side, Accuracy opens up with a big kill onto a player in bedroom, so that eliminates every single player from OpTic now on that side of the map. They were able to get 4 down and eventually set up the push, set up the setup that they wanted to get on that to close out that offensive round. Now they found themselves game point away from closing out this series and potentially 3-0 in OpTic Chicago, which is something we weren't expecting. And now they're on defense. Lives are going to be tied. But OpTic are trying to work for this early 8 point and trying to get some more time on this clock.
Yeah, Minnesota just trying to delay. Envoy does get picked there, so Minnesota does have somewhat of a presence. As Attach on the flank, that's actually a great play. That could turn into something special for them. So yeah, they will clear out that 8 point. They're going to send the rotation possibly back now toward that B position. And Priesta is ready and waiting. He gets picked. Envoy, meanwhile, in the spawns. Players dropping like flies. But overall, it's working out for Minnesota. As long as you can keep Chicago off of these points, you're going to take it. It's really just a matter of time for whenever they're able to get there. As Priesta drops, Formal now makes his way over toward B. Chicago, they've got 3, possibly 4 strong now over at this B control point.
Yeah, and OpTic are trying to get this B point nice and early, but 2 are going to drop now in favor of Minnesota. Standy going huge again with the huge 2-piece. 25 seconds remaining on the clock. That's going to be 2 down for OpTic. The players are trying to run towards that 8 point, but Attach is doing everything he can to keep him off of it. Time is starting to tick for OpTic. Can they fight back in this one? Can they extend the series? 15 seconds remaining. Attach is doing everything he can around middle map. Can they do it?
This is their chance as Formal and Scump, T2P going big now over at the A point. Again, fighting for their series lives right now. They drop this round and they are done. Chicago, they go big down the stretch. But you see, Minnesota instantly, they swarm now over at this A point. They clear out enough players, and now it's the race. Now it's the race. Dylan Price, 26 and 18, putting in some work for Minnesota today. And now Chicago, 50 seconds on the clock. They are down bad in terms of the lives. And really dashing Envoy. They need a sequence here. They need a play. Envoy finds the first one toward the top mansion side. Again, RØKKR trying to separate themselves throughout the map. And a whole lot of time left to work with, but the trophy goes down. Dashy, another pick from him. Slow and steady goes Chicago. One more coming in from Water Stairs. Despite not having any respawns left, that could be good. That could be good. Formal and Envoy, they find 2. Still 1 on the flank. As accuracy drops as well, a possible clutching position for Chicago as it all comes down to Formal and Envoy. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work. Formal falls, and it all comes down to Envoy and Minnesota RØKKR in their debut. 3-0 OpTic Chicago and ending the undefeated streaks in the raid respawns. Unreal stuff. Magic for Minnesota.
Let's just throw every single stat that we have so far on the RØKKR out the window, because this team is a completely different beast, man. From start to finish of this series, they wanted it more. Standy came out and had an unbelievable debut for his team. You gotta be feeling really good if you're the RØKKR versus who you went up against in OpTic, getting the 3-0, beating them on 2 different raid respawns, which is a map that they have yet to lose all season. Hats off to the RØKKR, man. This new roster is pretty good.
Oh my gosh, that is... I mean, like we said, man, my pick'ems are out the window. Out the window. You can see RØKKR, they're stunned they just did this. Like, they're like, hey, like, okay, we'll take it. But my goodness, what a different look that our CDL teams have had after bringing in these challenger players. We talk about it constantly. What Insight, Paul X, and without a doubt, one of the most impressive debuts of them all. Obviously gets the 3-0 win versus Chicago in Standy. Unreal. I never thought coming into today that we would have saw a 3-0, maybe a win, possibly if you're going to go for the rookie to have a great debut, but never a 3-0. Stunning us to close out the day. We look at those stats: 28 and 25 from Standy, 27 and 20 from Attach. What, 4,400 damage, almost 5K damage coming in from Attach as well. I'm stunned, man. I really am. I'm stunned. Just like how I had it in the pick'ems, buddy. You know what? Minnesota all the way. We had it from the start, no doubt. No doubt about it. No, I love the guys at Minnesota, but that was insane, man. I don't know what to say after that.
Yeah, neither do I, man. They beat OpTic in 2 respawns that were both on raid, which they were completely undefeated on throughout the entire season. And it's not like they didn't do it with ease. That first map, they 100-point clubbed them. That map 2, they were down 4-2, won 4 rounds straight to close that out. And eventually on that last map right there, that last defense was so huge on the side of Minnesota, man. But them opening up with that offensive win as well is what really gave them the win on this map.
Yeah.
You got to take your hats off to the RØKKR because this looks like a totally different beast, and I'm excited to see them play throughout the rest of the week.
I am too, man. I'm excited to see what Minnesota can possibly provide us with. Let's go ahead and revisit this control. For our scuff play of the game, we'll revisit round number 3 in particular, and it really was the continuous plays from guys like Standy. Again, you talk about kind of the necessary round from Minnesota, the opportunity for them to go up 2-1. They stay alive, and Minnesota from here, I don't want to say it's smooth sailing, but they get exactly what they needed.
Yeah, so they get 3 down right there. Attach was able to get on that point, eventually open up with the first kill onto Envoy. But look at that mini-map. You're going to see 2 players drop. Here comes Standy to try to make the play. He's able to get 2. The last player that's going to be able to contest that point is going to be Formal and Envoy. So there's going to be 2 players from Accuracy and Standy, but you see Standy, no hesitation, pushes towards that top window, able to get the first, attach with the second nade, then trades just come in. It was just such a well-executed play right there out of the RØKKR when it came to positioning, when it came to timing of the kills. Everything just went in their favor right there to close out that round.
And what's most impressive to me, man, was just the instant difference that you see come through from this roster. I mean, in the opening sequence in the hard point, it was just really from there you could tell. But let's go take a look at our Astro Social soundboard. We got a few tweets coming through from Miles the Ross. Says Randy for Standy. Of course, nice quote coming in from Chance. And then also, Priesta could be my new favorite AR player to watch. Hey, what, man? He had the performance today that we have been waiting for. Again, that .885. Yes. It was almost, like I said, it was funny to see because it's not the way that Priesta plays. Like, when we talk about a guy like him, a .85 is not at all indicative of how talented that he is. We talked about his performance last year with Atlanta FaZe. Many people kind of talked about it, how we really didn't get the chance to see the ability that he had because of the players that he's around. Now he comes into this Minnesota RØKKR player, or rather this Minnesota RØKKR team, expected to be one of those guys. Hasn't been that, but now you see the role change and just the way that it affects the entire team. We talk constantly about roster changes, how important they can be. But I'll tell you what, man, that one addition of Standy, you see it happen, and what a difference maker it makes now to this Minnesota team. And now looking ahead to their Stage 2 road to the Major. They lose their opening 2 games without Standy. They go 0-6. Now a hot 3-0 here versus Chicago again. The track, it doesn't get much easier, right? You still have Dallas Empire to face off against in a few days. Then you've got the Seattle Surge, who are looking much better as well. But that is one heck of a way to start it off. And again, cannot say enough. There were a lot of people coming into this week that were saying, hey, we could see an 0-4 start from Minnesota. I was even one of those guys who said that could be a possibility. But now OpTic Chicago, we talk about their ability here in Group B, does get kind of cut down, right? Obviously, they get this loss here to RØKKR. They got Florida, Seattle, and that final game versus the Dallas Empire. But, I mean, if you're Chicago, you're just relying on Dallas to hopefully lose, so that game, it means more.
Yeah, and if you're coming out like Chicago today, man, it's not the Chicago that we're always expecting to see, especially from a player of Dashy's caliber. He did not have a good series in that series right there. He was #1 overall throughout every single player for control, KD, and unfortunately he did not go positive in any of those respawns. So just go back to the drawing board. It's time to work those kinks out and come back better next time.
Definitely, man. It's going to be fun. Well, folks, this year, when you watch Call of Duty League matches, you can earn in-game rewards like exclusive emblems, calling cards, weapon stickers, charms, and more. Make sure to go to callofdutyleague.com to register and link your Activision and YouTube accounts so you can earn this weekend's rewards. What a cash stack weapons charm and a 30-minute double XP token. I got my accounts linked. I got my feet up just toward the side, and I'll tell you what, man, I'm actually on my screen right now. I'm actually seeing Minnesota just celebrate. It's awesome to see those guys play the way that they did. I'm stunned, man. I'm still stunned. I don't know what to say after that.
Yeah, me too, man. This is a completely different roster, man, from top to bottom. In every single game mode, these guys showed life. We were talking about it. Hardpoint was their worst game mode. They're 100% 100-point club, one of the best hardpoint teams that we have throughout the entire CDL. It's new flavor for this team, and I'm excited to see what they do forward.
New flavor indeed. A much different looking Minnesota team. Excited to see what these guys can do. Really, what throughout the rest of this week and throughout the rest of this stage. But folks, when we come back, it's myself sitting by with the rookie himself, Standy. We get a chance to talk to the young legend, the guy who gets the nice 3-0. Folks, we'll be back with that interview and more right after this.
Oh my word, Brett. We beat OpTic Chicago 3-0. Not even just beat them like my prediction 3-2, 3-0.
Let's fucking go. I know we're not supposed to curse on live, but let's go. Let's fucking go.
Bleep it, freaking fucking go, dude. I cannot. I mean,
we got a drop
it.
button, right? No drop button. Who cares?
We'll figure that out later, maybe next time. But yeah, dude, insane match from the boys. 3-0 OpTic Chicago. We came in here and said, hey, there's no pressure on this team. You're new. It's okay if you lose to one of the best teams. I mean, it's never okay to us that we lose. We never feel good about that. But like, if it's the understandable scenario. You come in here. Standy has an amazing pro debut against, I mean, some of the greatest to ever do it. Formal, Scump, you got Envoy, Dashy, like, holy cow. What an amazing way to make their debut. I'm hoping, it's always what they say, the honeymoon phase with a new roster. It always hits. You get in that, like, okay, like, we're new, we're doing this. And we saw a really good one there. I don't want to bleed over the Standy interview, so let's throw it back to the CDL stream. But Brett and I will be back after the Standy interview.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
RØKKR certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kids. They can't stop it.
Whoa, Priester, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. RØKKR, our kings of the north.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Stage 2, Week 2. It's our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight, and I am here with the man of the hour. Joining me is Standy from the Minnesota RØKKR. Standy, we got to talk about it, man. Your performance, it's your debut game. You're going up against OpTic Chicago. Tell me, were there nerves coming into today's match?
I really don't think there's any nerves because the team was struggling in the last few matches, so they kind of brought me in and told me, like, hey, just do your thing, see what you can do, no pressure, play confident, and you know what I mean? I came out and tried to show people what I can do and what I'm capable of, so, I mean, I'm really happy right now, and I'm proud of the team so far.
I think you definitely showed quite a few people, my friend. What a 1.52 KD in this series. Clearly led the way for Minnesota in this series. And what? A number of different kind of numbers to take a look at, right? You take down Chicago in a 3-0. You end their undefeated streaks in the raid respawns and that hard point in the control. What do you think this win, I know you talked about it a second ago, what does this win do, you think, for your Minnesota team?
I think this win is important because I think it shows that going into our next match against Dallas that, hey, we're a threat. Like, we can win these two next matches and start in winners in this major. So, I mean, that's the plan here, and we're going to go back to the lab, keep practicing, and hopefully turn things around and win. So
absolutely, man. That's great to hear. It's great to hear, and I've actually had the chance to cast over you for a little bit of time, like back in like Black Ops 4 or even earlier days than that. And you've been one of those guys in Search and Destroy tournaments, constantly grinding, constantly playing in these matches, kind of leading up into this moment. And I want to kind of give the audience a chance to kind of learn a little bit more about your play style, about your ability as a player. What do you think makes yourself such a threat around the map?
I think I take really good routes on the map, and I'm also good at being like the entry fast player on the map, but I also think I take really good routes to cut off the map, so then my players off spawn or my teammates have a easier job. The map is a lot more controlled. I think I'm an engineer player, so I think I'm really good at like with trophies, knowing where the trophies are. And overall, I just been grinding for this moment, and I mean, I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm just really happy. So.
Well, hey, man, I tell you what, it was a great performance without a doubt. I got to ask you, when you talk about about this team, you got a new fan base obviously supporting you, a lot of happy Minnesota fans tonight. You got any words for the RØKKR fans out there?
I appreciate all the love with the last few days, and I'm going to continue to do my thing and try to bring home some chips this year for the Minnesota RØKKR. And I just wanted to say I appreciate all my teammates as well. They're great people, and they really made this easy for me. And shout out all of them, shout out all the fans, and yeah, thank you guys.
I love it, man. I love it. When you get the nice support there coming in from Dylan Attach, showing some love, it's great to see, man. Well, folks, that was our
duo.
Absolutely, buddy. Definitely was a threat around the map without a doubt. Of course, that's our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Again, Standy, congrats on the win, and congrats to you on the team for that W. Well, folks, what a match, right? What a game. What a way to close out the day. Again, I kind of predicted it a little bit. I got the Minnesota hoodie ready to go. I was, we're rooting them on the entire time. No, I'll be honest, man. I'm surprised, impressed, to say the least. I just want to take a look at the matches that we got coming up for the remainder of Week 2 here in Stage 2 with our U.S. Army match schedule. But coming into tomorrow, we've got the Los Angeles Thieves taking on the London Royal Ravens. How great is it going to be, right? Paul X taking on Venom. Venom, of course, making his debut for the Thieves as well. And then to close out the day, New York Subliners versus LAG. Excited to see how that...
Man, I gotta say, after having to close out the last couple of RØKKR co-streams after just getting 3-0 smack dabbled, it felt bad, man. It's like, what do you even say? You try to look ahead, you try to get optimistic. It feels good to be ending today's co-stream with a 3-0 versus, I mean, this is a top team in CDL, in OpTic Chicago. Some of the greatest players of all time. Just so impressive to see the debut from Standy, and even like, not to just put all the spotlight on Standy, although he deserves it, the rest of the team played really well as well. Standy dropping a 1.52 KD in his debut. I can pretty much only drop that in free-for-all lobbies and pubs. So yeah, Brett, impressions, what are we feeling? We're very happy, right? What's going on?
Well, if the police show up here, I did do a lot of yelling and cursing off air. And at one point, the janitorial staff was coming through, and I think I may have scared them, and they may have thought, they may have called the police out of just fear for what was going on in this space here. But yeah, I mean, just amazing, right? And, I was trying to do some quick math during that interview. So like you said, over a 1.5 for Standy, 64 and 42. Had Attach, the new SMG duo Attach was 46 and 38. Accuracy 47 and 41. Preston, Priesta 45 and 39. So,
wow.
Look, I mean, you win 3-0 and in the fashion that we did, your numbers are going to look pretty good. But I mean, clearly the things that the coaches talked about needing to improve, whether it was hardpoint, staying consistent on search, and and winning an offense on control. I mean, all the things that the coaches have talked about looking for, we saw all of that come through today.
Yeah, it's really good to see that. Like, I mean, exceeded my expectations, if I'm honest. It's not that I expected us to come here and get an L, but you're wondering, okay, how's the new guy going to look? How's the team going to look around him? I mean, Standy in the interview there said he does a really good job of cutting off the map. Not only does he cut off the map, but he's able to get those kills and stay in that position, which does, in fact, help the rest of his teammates out. It helps them get in position. It helps them hold rotations. It helps them just be able to score points. I know it sounds so like remedial, but like we're just able to function. You know, as soon as I saw in that control, you know, when we stole that offense, that was really hype. Then you look at, okay, well, now we're on defense. We kind of maybe have an easy road. OpTic made it a really easy road. They weren't able to get A right away. They dropped down in lives pretty quickly while not having A, so that just made it almost insurmountable for OpTic at that point to be able to punch back and get to an overtime in that map 3. And, you know, I'm thankful. Although it felt good to be up 2-0, you're thinking, okay, well, if we lose the next 2, we can at least go game 5, and, you know, Standy's a freak at search, well, maybe we'll figure it out. But, like, to win 3-0 in that fashion against such a good team in OpTic Chicago, you feel good. I wanna join you at the facility. Let's party. Let's get wild.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and we were talking about it during the gameplay itself, right? Watching Standy win 1v1s against every single member of Chicago OpTic at some point during that match, those are the things you want to see. And Jake and Brian said it very well leading into it, that this is going to be a great test of his skill against the best in the world. And he was winning 1v1s. In that hard point, he won a 1v1 versus Formal at a distance when he's got the sub and Formal's got the AR. I mean, that's unreal. You know, and the rest of the team, seeing the rest of the team succeed as well. I mean, it was just a great team effort for a group that's only scrimmed together 2 days. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see it. It goes to show, I mean, as much it does hurt to not have MiDNiTE on that starting lineup, because like I said, I do think he is such a highly skilled player. You have Priest to move into second AR. You have Eli, aka Standy, coming in at that second sub. The sub duo with Attach and Standy is going to be one to watch out for the foreseeable future. They looked dominant against a team that has a very good sub duo in OpTic Chicago. So we feel great about that, right? It sucks to go 0-2 in group stages right away. We lost to Paris. We lost to Florida. You know, you asked me a month ago, should we be losing to those teams? I say, frick no. But we did, right? And so you see the change come in. We 3-0 OpTic, and now we have 2 matches left in the group stage. So we'll be going up against Dallas on this Sunday, the 28th at 3:30 Central Time. So same time, same place, same face. I'll have a different Brett on with me. No, Brett, I'm not replacing you with another Brett. There's just also another Brett that is also cool. Shout out to all the Bretts out there. He'll be joining me for that show because IKON is down in wherever, having a spring break fun time. He'll be back for the Surge match, which, by the way, our final match of the stage will be Saturday, April 3rd, 3:30 Central, against Seattle Surge. You can catch all the action right here on the co-stream with me. It'll be a good time. We feel good now, right? That's good. We win the middle match. We've got 2 left. If we could finish strong here, we could. It feels possible that we could end up in the upper brackets at majors. Brett, tell me, like, what are you looking forward to seeing in the Dallas Empire match? Obviously, we just saw Empire play in the match before us. They're looking pretty good, but they also look human, and we've beat them before. How are you feeling about going into Sunday against Dallas?
Yeah, you know, I think we're all going to be watching for consistency, right? And, you know, we don't need to come out and 100-point club them in the first map and sweep the series, but do the things that went well today carry over into Saturday against Dallas? That's what I'll be watching for. What I imagine all the RØKKR fans are watching for is these things that went well today. Do we see those? Is that a trend? Right. That's what we want to see.
Consistency is key. I mean, yeah, saying it, we beat Dallas before. Can we beat them again? Can we show the consistencies that we had? I mean, you're just reading off the KDs there. Like sometimes when even in 3-0s, you might not even always be winning that sleigh battle. The fact that they did and also obviously won the objectives, like that's really, really feel good for you if you're a RØKKR fan, which I'm assuming all you here are. Let's go. Raise your glass. All right, everybody. That's about it. That's all I got here for the Minnesota RØKKR co-stream. We will be back on Sunday, March 28th at 3:30 Central Time, playing Dallas Empire. So we will be live at either 3:30 Central or as soon as the match before us ends. We'll be live right here on the RØKKR YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. We do a podcast. We're going to have Standy on as a guest next week. We got to talk to the kid, learn more about him, and just, yeah, super excited to get to know Eli more. Excited with how he played. Couldn't be more happy for the kid. And yeah, go give a follow to Standy on Twitter. Follow all our socials, and we'll catch you guys on Sunday. We'll see you there.